always excited to be with you guys. If you guys have not written a review or sent us a DM or an email letting us know how this has impacted your life or what it is that you're going through, that is one of the easiest ways that you guys can support us. Mm-hmm. Super encouraging. Also helps other people to find us. So if you have not done that, I'm just going to ask right now that you will just like pause and 5 stars. Mm-hmm. Right, babe?
Yeah.
Brad says you can just do an emoji, but I say give us more. We love to hear your guys' stories and what God is doing in your lives. It really, really does impact us and gives us a sense of even ways that we can continue to just do episodes and bring content. So we would love if you would do that. So today, kind of what has been on my mind and heart, and I was sharing it with you, and I think you and I have both seen this more and more, is people's struggle with doing hard things.
Yeah, it's annoying.
And that's the end of the episode. That's what Brad has to say about it. It's annoying. You're welcome.
So annoying. I've gotten to the point of like, I don't even like, oh, I'm sorry, but we need to do, talk about this. No, it's just, this is what we're going to talk about. You got to do the hard thing. I'm not sorry about it.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's lately I've heard this in several different areas. And I mean, like very specifically these words, like, but it's hard, right? Like, and repeatedly. Mm. And every time I think I'm just kind of like, yeah, it is hard. And we are made to do hard things. I think it's like looking around at culture, there's just this sense of doing things the easy way.
Yeah.
And as believers, we have adopted this.
Why is it hard?
Yeah, that's good question.
I'm just thinking in my mind, all the things that I've had to do, the difficult things I've had to do that are not physical difficulties, right? Like the difficult things I've had to do. If I really, really think about it, I think that it's your own pride that makes it hard. If I really
break it down,
right?
No, I'm asking you to break it down further.
I thought you like, I knew that'd make you laugh. That was me dancing.
Sometimes you come out with the most random things, and I do not expect you to be one who just drops a beat somewhere on the
Should break it down. All right.
Okay, let's do this.
I'm game. Let's go.
If I knew that was like the cue, I would be doing that all the time.
I mean, you don't know. You've never said that to me.
I've never said break it down.
No.
Now I know.
So maybe
periodically,
that's the trigger. I don't know.
I just want you to know, I'm putting this on record. I am going to now be recording and say break it down in various times during our day, and I'm going to make a compilation on social media.
All right. So
prepare yourself.
No, the difficult things. So I really think it is a pride thing. So it's twofold, right? Because I was thinking as I'm saying this, I'm like, okay, well, someone could be like, I'm going to hurt them if I say this truth or whatever it may be, right?
Okay.
But I would say the area you're talking about, what you're talking about, really is a self thing. It's not because you're afraid you're going to hurt someone else's feelings, right? It's a self thing.
Yeah, I mean, it can encompass that, right? You're afraid to do this thing yourself because you are not wanting to, basically step out of your own comfort zone, right? But
you just said yourself and own in the same
yes,
sense.
exactly.
So that's what I'm saying.
I said it can encompass it.
Like, I think it is a pride thing that it comes down to. I was just talking to my youths. The youth group, like the class that I'm in, right? We're separated in groups.
Your small group.
The boys that I had.
Yes.
Right, my youth.
If they're listening to this by chance, I'm your youth.
Yeah. No, I was just talking to them about this. We were talking about something different, but it's the same concept in the sense of because one of them had to do something hard, and he did it, right? And it was difficult for him in his world, right? It's difficult in general, but in his world, you know,
a really big deal.
Yeah, exactly, right? And as you get older, you look and you're like, you know, not a big deal. But for him in that situation is a big deal. And I asked him, I'm like, hey, so how did it feel when you were done, right? He knew God was like, you need to do this, right? How did it feel when you were done? That was one question I asked him. And the second question I'm asking him, I was like, was the outcome different than what you thought? And he said, first question, he's like, it felt good. I had no regrets because God told him to do it, right? So like, if you're obedient to Christ, right? Like there's no regret, right?
Yeah.
This is what he's telling you to do. And he did it in a way that was honorable, right? Yeah, exactly. His answer to 2 was yes. That the outcome was better than what he thought it was going to be.
Right.
And that's where I think that everyone misses this mark, and that's where pride gets in and self gets in the way, is that we've already come up with whatever it is, we've already come up with what the outcome is going to be, right? Based on prior engagements, based on expectations, based on experience, all those things make us go to what that outcome is going to be, right? I would say almost all the times, I would venture to say all the times I've had to have a difficult conversation, going into it, worried, anxious, all the things you're not supposed to be, right? Just give that to Christ, all those things, worried, all those things because of this outcome that I already had said is going to happen, that in my mind was already the thing that happened. And once I had the conversation, and it wasn't like I'm, polished in difficult conversations by any means, but once I had these conversations, the outcome was much less than what you had built dramatic, much less problematic, all the things than what I had built in my head.
Yeah. And I will say, tying along with the pride thing, because I hadn't really thought about that being tied into pride. And I don't think anyone who's in those situations feels like it's coming from pride, but I can see it even in that aspect of a lot of times we don't want to navigate doing the hard thing because it's something we want to hold on to still.
Pride.
Right. And so that's what I'm saying. I can see it tie in because it's like, okay, well, I don't want to do that because it's painful, because in a way, we become comfortable in the cycles that we're in, and breaking out of them is hard. And so we would rather complain about the cycle we're in, or complain about the position that we're in, versus the hard of removing ourselves and or pivoting from the situation and realizing
which is
I need something
so
different.
Exhausting.
It is exhausting.
Just for you, for, us, in these situations we had these conversations. If it's this cyclical thing and it gets exhausting, it's like, oh, there's so-and-so.
Well, I will say, I think, and I wanted to talk about this because I think there's this element, God stretches us in hard things, and it's meant to be, right? If we never face hard things, then when is it that we lean into God's strength?
Yeah.
If we just sit there and go okay, I can do all this on my own, I'm fine. No, not that pride thing, right? Yeah. Then we never really lean into what God calls us to lean into. But at the same time, I think that God has really worked on you and I in our capacity of realizing too, that we cannot own other people's behavior.
Oh yeah.
And so in a lot of ways, I don't even feel those kind of things when someone's having those conversations with me, and the fact that I'm not owning they're in that.
No, not at all. I feel it in the way of, man, we've had this conversation.
Yeah, you want them to start owning it.
We've talked about what you could do, many different options, right? And you're choosing not to do it, but then you come back and it's basically the same conversation.
Yeah, right? I actually get sad for people.
That's what I'm talking about, where it's just oh, dude.
Yeah. Seems like you're content with where you're at that point.
Yes. And what's sad about that, and I'm probably stepping on a lot of toes right now. What's sad about that is I feel that some of these things, it's these people want to be in that drama. When it comes down, it's like, come on. Here's what, here's A, B, and C. I'm not saying A, B, and C is hard, easy by any means, but here's A, B, and C. And then they do D, which is nothing, and it's like, well,
yeah, they choose the simplest option always. Yeah. And usually it's always a part way. Like I'll take a part of what has been relayed or part of what God says.
Yeah.
And I'll do that. Mm-hmm. And I want the transformation.
Yeah. Which you're not going to get it.
Right.
You got to be all in. Right. So, I mean, I was even just thinking, a lot of guys that I've been around and some of them for sure are not, they're not, maybe they are following Christ. They're just not, it's the workplace, right? There's some that are, some that probably are not at all.
Yeah.
Right? And I was trying to figure out if like, hey, do these guys, just right now as I'm thinking about this, do these guys handle hard situations, not physical? Physical, I think, is a different thing.
100%.
Do these guys handle hard situations the way, in a healthy way? It wouldn't be the way I'd handle it because I'm a Christ follower, right? So I want to bring everything to God, right? That's what he says to do, right? All the things bring to him. But when it gets hard for me, I'm going to handle it a little different. I have a different look. I have a different look, than, not that I look different, like I see it differently.
Yeah, your perspective is different.
I see everything differently. But I'd venture, they do handle it healthy, secularly healthy, and they could handle it better, though. They're going to have like a harder time handling it, but they're still stepping in to do it. If that makes sense.
They're not avoiding.
Right? They're not avoiding it. Where I think that's where.
Do you feel like that plays out? Like, I mean, you are, and obviously I don't know any of this stuff, but because so many in the first responder world, like can handle elements of high charge situations, but at home, in marriage, and in that area, hurting. Majorly.
And I don't know, I can't specifically say broken. For guys that I know, right, how their home lives are in particular. But statistically speaking,
right?
It's horrible. It's horrible. And that's, they're just not dealing with the hard the right way, right?
Yeah. And that's a good point because I think a lot of people deal with hard things, right? We have these coping mechanisms that we put into play and all of us fall prey to, right? The easy thing to make myself feel better right now. Yeah. And, whether it's drinking, pornography, drugs, like avoidance. Yeah. Distraction, eating, right? There's like, we can go down a million lists of coping mechanisms that people do to circumvent the hard, to really allow true change to happen. But it's like the hard, facing it and getting through it is building something in us. And if we don't allow that to be built, if we don't allow the stretching, if we don't allow that capacity to grow, it's like we stunt ourselves, and we also don't get a chance to experience the power of God.
Yeah.
It's like it's almost like you just sit there and go like, and I'm going to stay stuck. Like, I mean, when you say I choose to not go through the hard, I mean, I'm thinking of this young girl who tells me she knows she's in a toxic relationship. And she tells me like, well, I've blocked this person, but not like entirely. Right.
Yeah.
And I'm just sitting there going like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Why?
Yeah. Right? And she's like, and then I literally was like, what do you, and she was like, it's hard.
But
and I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So do the hard thing.
Yeah.
Right? Like this aspect of saying, if I want to get there, right? Like so many marriages come to us, and one of the first questions we have with marriages in crisis is, how long is it going to take me to heal?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so it's like, well, that, by the way, there is no timeline that Brad and I will give you as to what that looks like, because there's a million elements at play here.
It's like that I'm just thinking of that time, The Office, when, I don't know if you remember this, but Jim's like asking Dwight, oh, like how Dwight's saying something about how long, and Jim's like, I mean, could it be a year? And Dwight's like, that perhaps. He's like, possibly. 2 years? Like, possibly. 3 years? I mean, that's a realistic timeline. It just keeps going on, and it's just funny. But that is, it's true. It's true in this sense. Like, you don't know. And
it's like, so we're sitting across from a couple, and it's like what they see as an end goal. And I always tell women when I'm coaching one-on-one, like, you're seeing so many years of hard work.
Yeah.
When you listen or you watch us on YouTube, like, you're seeing years of hard, like, played out, you can't just get there.
But it's not, you're seeing years of hard work that are continuing.
Yes.
So it's
not I've arrived.
I think that's like a misconception that people have as being a Christian. Maybe not so much anymore, or maybe generally speaking, because I've heard it more and more being like messaged out that, God didn't call us to a life of comfort, right? We're going to experience pain, trials, tribulations, we're going to experience all these hard things, but through Christ, I can do that.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I can experience all these things through Christ, because ultimately, where am I going to be? Right? Like, ultimately, we've already won. Right? So this is just a little speed bump in my life that I need to work hard at, like, I need to just do the hard things. It is so hard to have a difficult conversation. So the situation you're talking about, where it's like, I have a toxic relationship, I've semi-blocked them. I have no clue what that means. I'm not up to social media, that deep, right? Like, I just see snooze and block. I don't know if there's like, can I semi-block this toxic person?
Just think it means like in all facets of communication.
Still, I don't know what, it's like, I'm kind of pregnant. Like, I don't understand.
That's like your favorite analogy.
Right? Well, it's true, right? Like, you either cut someone out or you don't cut them out. Like, that is really, like, if you're giving them access still, then you haven't.
It's true.
You haven't cut them out. Yeah. They still have access to you. And so there's still the toxicity of whatever's going on. I don't want to even know the details, please. But there's still this toxicity of what's still going on, and you're still allowing it because you still give them access. So you have not blocked them, quote unquote. You have just done nothing, essentially. You've made yourself feel a little bit better because you've
taken a step,
a half step, right?
Yeah,
like, you've made yourself
what I see happening.
Feel a little better, but nothing's changed, right? And so I think I'm gonna start doing this.
Okay.
That
always scares me.
Keep asking why, like a 2-year-old, right? Because it's like, okay, why are you doing this? Why don't you do this? Oh, because it's hard. Why is it hard? Like, well, because it just is. No. Why is it hard? Like, let's talk about this.
Yeah.
Why can you not do this? You don't want to live here.
But you don't want to do that.
But you don't want to do that to not live there.
Yeah.
Why? And I mean, I've thought, and that's what I'm saying, like, the hard conversations that we had, right? The hard that I didn't want to have conversations. I know you didn't want to have conversations. And why did we do it? Right? Because we knew we couldn't be here.
Yeah, we wanted to get somewhere else.
We had, going back to my youths, right? Like, I talked to them about backwards planning, because that was, I think you spoke, right? And you talked about backwards planning, and they didn't quite grasp what that was. And so I explained it like in, more depth. And I'm like, essentially you're taking something of where you want to be.
Yeah.
And you're going, okay, what does it take to get there? And the steps before, like, you know, like you think of stairs. I want to get to the top of the stairs because this is where I want to be. And all these steps require some kind of planning. So I'm going to backwards plan. If I need to take this step, then that means I need to do this. And you just kind of go down to where you are at.
Yeah.
Right. And then where you're at, you're like, okay, that's just the next step I need to take. And that gets me closer to whatever this is on the top of the stairs. Right. And so I was explaining that to him because that's what, you know, that's what we did without
a conscious plan.
Without a conscious plan. Yeah. It was literally the grace of God. And I can't think of anything else
truly
for the reason why we did that, because essentially without speaking, it was implied and understood. We don't want to be here. We want a better marriage, right? We have to move from this.
Yeah.
Whatever this looks like now, I'm back in the house and it's hard. So whatever this looks like, we can't live like this. It's not healthy. We're not meant to live like this.
This is not the long-term solution.
Yeah. This isn't the toxic guy I have to get rid of. This is the marriage that, you know, God brought us back together. Now we got to do some serious work.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And we knew we wanted whatever that marriage looked like. We just knew it wasn't this. And so because of that, we're like, I have to have these conversations. Like you need to ask the questions. I have to answer the questions and vice versa. But we had to go through that hard.
And I'll say, like, and I like how you said, is the hard is always meant to be there and stretching us. Like, you never arrive. I mean, even in this past week, you and I had this discussion where it's like just this tiny little minute little thing that happened when we're out to dinner. And I really took it like it brings out a reaction in me. Right. And it's really not a big deal. I felt.
Yeah.
What?
It's just funny that this happened because I felt like we had a little conversation out whenever this happened. And I thought like, well, I mean, she's talking, so we're good, right? Like after, right?
Yeah.
Like she's talking, we're good. But that night I felt like there was still something. And then being like, I guess a guy, right? I was like,
we'll wait.
Yeah.
We'll see if that settles.
I'm gonna let the dust settle. I'm
We'll
gonna let this
ride.
marinate a little bit. Like just kind of let it, you know, see how the morning is.
In your defense though, there are some times where you have to like wrestle some of those things out.
Yeah.
And honestly, like I have learned to do that in my life too. And I think you have too, where it's like, does this warrant a further conversation? Yeah. Am I being overly sensitive? Is this a wound that I need to address? You know, like asking yourself those questions, I think is healthy.
No, it is. But I can tell when you're doing it.
Yeah, you can tell. I know, which is annoying, by the way.
Everything is off. Like it's all.
The aura is different.
Yeah, the vibes. Right? Everything's off. So then I finally was like, I just need to just straight up, like, I was going to say, what's your problem? But that's not what I said.
I would never advise that. No. If you're listening right now and you're just thinking like, I just say, what's your problem? Like,
what's your problem?
That's not a good way.
No,
that's
no,
not a good
no.
way.
It wasn't that.
He did not do that.
I was like, are you okay? Is there something wrong? Like, this whole thing is off. I feel it.
This whole thing.
What's going on? You know, and then you opened up to me. But like, so we still have to have those hard conversations. Yeah. And yeah, I finally got to the point of like, I feel like I just need to tell her something. Like it didn't go away.
Yeah.
Right. Like the next morning when we woke up, it didn't go away.
His mercies are new every morning. I don't know if you realize that.
So it's like, it didn't go away.
But no, I mean, I think there's both sides of that, right? You chose to wade into the hard, right? Because you could have just continued. And eventually, like, I would have just let it go, right? Like, I mean, for real.
Yeah.
But then, and also I could have just said in that moment when you said, is everything fine? I also, because I have done before, like,
I'm fine.
I'm good.
And then on the way into church, I'm fine. And then later, I'm not fine. I'm like, what just happened?
Apparently, I would shake my head and I have a little sass to my voice when I say these things. But in that moment, because it's vulnerable, both sides of those things, right? It's like, and you could have then chosen to be defensive, but you didn't, which also helps me to be more introspective of like, okay, am I also like responding because of wounds or because of my nature? And that's for sure that. Like I can recognize that, okay, I do not like to feel stupid. I do not like to feel like I'm an inconvenience. Like those are just kind of like some core values within myself, wounds or whatever. And so when those things end up just in a tiny little conversation, like I can take that really personally. And so we both in that moment recognize like we have to wade into the hard. We have to have the conversations. You should always recognize in your marriage that having that conversation immediately then puts us back into that position of like, we're moving forward, cause we just, okay, we understand, we love each other, we're for each other. And we both reminded each other of that, like my intention is never to hurt you. I know it's not right. Like those are things that we've been able to develop over the hard conversations over the years, is to recognize like even when we have a misunderstanding, even when we're upset, we're on the same team. We're for each other. The intention is never to do that. I understand that. And so do you. Yeah. That's because we've waded through the hard and we're still willing to do that. Like, I think that's important for people to recognize that you need that, right? Like you need to have the capacity to wade into the hard. It's important. And I know, like I mentioned, I think just a couple episodes that I feel like God has been increasing our capacity and our perspective. And I think that is like when you're going through hard, it is for that purpose. Is like, I am wanting to increase your capacity. Yeah. I am wanting to increase. Like if you want more, then you have to get to the place of increased just capacity and growth. Like I feel like God's like, you tell me this is what you want. Yeah. But are you willing to do what it takes to get there?
Yeah. And that's what you're seeing in the example you gave. And you hear it more than I do. Guys that I've met with, I've never heard like it's too hard. Maybe it's their pride. They don't want to say it's too hard. It's like go back to pride. But I've never really heard a guy say. I've heard men talk about how difficult things are, but not like, hey, this is probably what you need to do. It's usually like, yeah, you're right. Let me write this down. Like I think you're right. So it's not that, oh no, I can't do that. It's too hard. Or why didn't you do that? It's too hard. I've never gotten that, but
we've seen it for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. Played out. 100% played out for sure. But I think you've heard that more. And if really looking at you hearing that more, it does probably come from more of a pain side of things, right? And I still stand on that. There's pride underlining the reason why we don't do hard things, right? But man, the other side of that hard, whatever that is just like, it's a beautiful place to be. I mean, even in, I was going to say it's like an addictive place to be. It's, cause it's just such a beautiful place to be. There's a weight that's taken off of you. There's clarity. There's breakthrough. There's discovery. Like there's just so many things that come out of when you choose to do hard things. Physically, think about the physical side. Like forget for a second, like emotional, mental things with this. Think about the physical side of all the hard things to do, right? If people were so willing to do that, you'd see a lot different society.
Oh, for sure.
In our world, right? If everyone chose to do the hard things physically, there's just, like I'm saying, just talk about physically. But when you see someone that has chosen to do the hard things physically, you're like, wow. Like, look at their discipline they have, look at, you know, all these things that you look at, because it's this physical side of it. And you're like, man, I want that. But then when you dig into how.
Yeah, I don't want that. Yeah, that's 100% accurate.
I love candy, right? Like, I don't love candy, but I'm just like giving an example, you know, like, nope, I'm not giving that up, you know, but isn't that
so accurate? Yeah.
But that's the same, but you want that. So like these people, you know, whomever is saying like, I can't do it, it's too hard. Right. And what we're not in the physical world, but what we're talking about, emotional, spiritual,
right.
all those things. It's like, I can't do it. It's too hard. I can't let that go. That's too hard. I can't have that conversation. That's too hard. And it's like, well, you want to be here, but you don't want to do what it takes to get there.
Yeah.
And in order to do that.
Yeah. And we'll have people ask us that whole thing. They're like, tell us the blueprint. Tell us exactly. And I mean, in all honesty, you could listen to every episode here and you'll hear the blueprint. Go after Jesus.
Yeah, that's the one thing you can see. And then there's a bowl of spaghetti noodles, and it's like, this is our blueprint. It just goes all over the place because it ebbs and flows with what exactly is going on. There's no step process. Unlike physical is almost easier.
Oh, hands down.
Right, the physical aspect of it, like you want to deadlift 500 pounds. Okay, here's the blueprint.
Yeah.
Right here. Follow this program. You will get to 500 pounds.
Right.
It's going to take you a year. It's going to take you a few months, whatever. But this is exactly what you need to do.
Eat this.
Yep.
Don't eat that. Lift this. Don't that. This is how you do it. Like, yeah. And it's attainable. It's attainable.
I don't think that you can give a semi blueprint for emotional and spiritual side of doing the hard things. Absolutely. But there's no guarantee on that. Like,
yeah, because someone else can make a decision that completely implodes that, right? Or won't do the thing, or is afraid to do the thing. Or,
yeah, and like because I'm trying to explain it in the sense of like you put Christ first, right? If you're not a Christ follower, that's the first thing you need to do that. That's the hard you need to do.
Yeah.
Right? Like you need to get on that. Like absolutely. You unequivocally need to do that. After that, the hard, there's a different perspective behind the hard. And so your quote unquote blueprint is a little bit different.
Yeah.
You know, and you know that like I would rather not have difficult conversations. There's times
I'd rather let it marinate.
Listen, and not so much in our marriage, but I mean, there's a part of me, and this isn't even difficult conversations. This is conversation in general. Right? There's a part of me that this is almost embarrassing to say. I'll be at a grocery store, and I'm very aware, right? It's just me, right?
I feel like I need to apologize in advance for what you're going to say.
I'm very aware of what's going on. I will pass and not catch the eye, but I'll catch like, oh, I know that person. And I might not want to talk to them. So now
By the way, not because it's a you thing, not because
it's a me thing.
Yes.
It's not because I dislike it, like, oh my gosh, I can't talk. No. It's not them at all. 100% not them. It's literally me and my big introvert coming out. I do not want to have, and so like I duck and start doing all these other things to like, I don't want to go down that aisle. Like hopefully we don't end up in the same cashier line. And then if we do, I'm going to be like, whoa, look, you're here. I didn't see you 20 minutes before. Right. So I do avoid, hard in that. And I cannot remember the point I was making on that because I'm so bad about
because you don't have your little fidget spinner that we talked about. Like that's what you should be having right now.
And I have no help from the point I was going to make either. Someone sitting next to me didn't know where I was going with that either.
It can't be in your brain. No, you were just talking about how you also don't like hard conversations. You avoid them.
Yeah, but and I just gave a funny example because those aren't hard conversations. But on the other side of having these hard conversations, there's such a light that shines.
I feel like there's just freedom there.
It really is.
And purpose. There's purpose in going through the hard. And if you look at all of the people in the Bible, man, like God brought them all through hard things. Like he didn't take the Israelites out of slavery, right? Let's just talk about the fact that they were in slavery. Okay. So already experiencing trials and hardships and suffering, brings them out into freedom. He did not walk them directly into the promised land. There was a trusting process that he brought them through. This refining, right? Like, I'm going to show you that I am the provider, the protector. I'm going to lead you. I'm going to show you what this looks like. Even though the Israelites over and over and over.
Then they ended up having to stay out there.
40 years because they wouldn't learn the lessons.
They worshipped another thing.
Wouldn't trust his promise.
Yeah.
They didn't trust his promises, and it's like, I think that's such a good example because we are the Israelites, right? We want to experience the promised land, but we don't want to trust the promise. Like, we want to experience the promised land, but we don't want to go through what it takes to actually step into it. And it's like, that's the reality. We would just rather continue to wander in the desert versus
And I think
fully trusting.
Your example from the very beginning, based on like marriages having difficult conversations, that's really an easy example, right? There's not a marriage there. There's nothing there. It's just literally like, this is toxic. I have to get rid of this person, whatever it may be.
Right.
But you get into marriage. Now those conversations are a lot more difficult because of what I had said from the beginning is all your experiences are coming with you to that table.
Yep. All your pain.
I've said this
shame.
before. Last time I said this is how the reaction was. Last time I did this is what happened. Why would I expect a different outcome? And what I would say to that is that both of you need to sit down with no expectation of outcome and just get what's going on.
Get rid of your
assumptions. Start talking about that. Lay your assumptions aside and just start talking about that. But before you do that, like you should be praying about this.
Yeah.
Like even getting rid of I'm assuming a guy, right? Just assumptions, right? Even getting rid of that person, like this toxic relationship, that, are you praying about it?
Yeah.
Like, are you praying of how to do it? Because there is one, if you're sinning, like, you don't need to pray about it. You just need to stop, right?
Yeah.
Like,
truth.
Of course you need to pray about like strength and all those things, but really if it's a sin, there's nothing like, God, do you still want me to do this? Is it okay? No, it's not. You need to turn around and walk away. So I'm not saying that, but you should be bringing everything, right? Everything in prayer to God, everything. And so if you're needing to have these difficult conversations, I go back to one of the boy youth that I was talking to, and he's like, I prayed about this and God showed me and I felt it. This is what I need to do. And then I was obedient at doing that. And
that's where people get stuck.
And then when he was obedient at doing that, the outcome was far less than what he thought.
Yeah.
And it's like, do you not think that God was intertwined in every single aspect of his difficult situation he had to do? Yes. That's why it came out differently than what you thought.
Yeah. It's like we would go to God or we inquire of his word or we pray and he gives us a direction. But the reality is we don't want to obey.
I mean, think about your marriage right now, whatever difficulty you're in. And it could be as simple as what we went through, right? Just some little.
I thought you were saying.
No, not our testimony.
I was like, I wouldn't say simple.
Last week,
yes.
Just this little
misunderstanding.
Basically. Yeah. It could be as simple as that, or it could be as big as we're rebuilding this marriage that got destroyed. But think about where you're at and where you want to be and the conversations that you need. You need to be bringing those to Christ. Yes, we could have not had any conversation, but then what was going to happen? It would have been fine after a couple of days for our incident, right? Like we're ranking. Now, this isn't a sin. right? We're ranking these for our little thing.
Yeah.
We could have gone without talking about it.
For sure.
But what's going to happen is in a couple of weeks, different situation, same kind of thing comes up. And then we're back to she's off. I know something's wrong. I don't want to say anything,
Yeah.
And then it's back into the cycle.
And you end up with building resentment.
Yes. Or I don't see it because you're good at swallowing, like just throw it down there. I'm not gonna deal. I'm gonna swallow all my emotions and get them out, and I'm gonna just laugh and have fun. But then what's it doing really?
Right.
It's building this wall in that area.
It's true.
And then at one point, this wall is going to be built, and then it's going to be a more difficult conversation. It's going to be harder. It's going to cause more.
Right. And then your inner narrative
opposition.
is much louder than any kind of external conversation that you can have. So at that point, you're not willing to have the externally hard conversation. So you're feeding yourself a narrative internally.
Yeah.
And let's be very real. 90% of those internal conversations are negative, right? Like negative about the people that are around you and or to yourself, which is a problem, right? And so unless you recognize like this is negative, this internal narrative is negative, I have to wade into the hard and I have to shift my perspective. Yeah, you are continuing to just destroy the very thing that you say that you want. It's like bringing it back to the physical, right? It's like, okay, I want to, lose 10 pounds.
Yeah.
I say this, my inner narrative now says like, but I'm having a hard day, so I deserve the cake, right?
Yeah.
So then I'm going to have the cake, and you literally continually sabotage what you say your result is. It's the same thing in marriage.
Yeah. And so the more difficult conversations you have, the harder things, these hard points that you're navigating and you're like, I'm going to take these head on. One thing I want to highlight though, for sure, is that, it says in the Bible, God gives us strength, right? But you're never going to be strong enough to do any of those things without Christ.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the point.
It's for me, I feel like the strength that he's giving you is filling in your weakness.
Yes.
For that. And that's always the case.
Yes.
Like I might have 1,000 hard, difficult conversations, but the next one I have, I'm not like, oh, I've had 1,000 of these. Let me just do it again. No big deal. No, it's still a hard, difficult conversation. And I'm not stronger in self.
Yeah.
I'm stronger with my walk with Christ. And so he just continues to fill in this weakness. Like, no, don't worry. I'm going to get you through this. Yeah. It's okay.
And the more that your trust develops in him, I don't think that the hard becomes easier, but the recognition of who takes you through the hard becomes greater.
Yeah. I kind of always equate it to this, because I've pondered this too recently. Because of I think we talked about it on another episode where I just kept all these things, like eternity and all these things, and and I get to a point where I'm like, well, when it's my time, right? I have no choice, right? But it's almost like, well, you just step, right? It's my time. Like I have no choice. I don't know. I'm gonna get to how it makes sense in my head, right? Because I have no choice, but But so I don't like heights. I'm highly, I'm not super scared of heights. I would say like I respect heights very, very much. Right?
That's how you want to put it?
Yeah.
You have a high regard. I have a high regard
it's a different
for
perspective. Okay. And I've rappelled and fast roped hundreds of times. And I remember the first time I did it, and I remember the last time I've done it. The first time it was harder for me to trust this rope.
Yeah, the equipment that was holding you.
Yeah, for rappelling, it was harder for me to trust this harness that was on me. Then the last time I did it, I knew what that rope was going to do. I knew what the harness was going to do. I knew all those things. it was still hard for me to do it, the action.
Right.
But the trust was high because I was like, oh, I've been here before.
You trained with that equipment.
Yeah, I've been here before. This fast rope, it's gonna hold me. Mm-hmm. I just, and the first time of course, my assumptions in my head was like, well, is when I get on that thing, it's gonna be like Final Destination movie, right? Like the rope's gonna fray and all, then I'm dead. It's clearly not the case. There's so many other things, Anyway, this is my mind. But this is your mind when you're trying to do a hard thing.
Unequivocally. Right? I think that's a great analogy about faith.
Yeah. Now when I do them, do I like necessarily doing it?
No one likes hard things.
Like even this, like not really. Yeah. Like rappelling, I don't like, hey, dude, let's go to the tower and rig it up and jump off the tower today. Like you'll never hear that come out of my mouth.
Or hang Christmas lights.
Now, if someone else says it and I'm like, yeah, I'm down, let's go do it. But you're never going to hear me like, hey,
initiate
get on this thing. Let's do this thing. I want to jump off this tower. Like, it's not going to happen. Don't really want to do it.
That's not my idea of a good time.
But yeah, when I'm doing it, it's like, the experience after I'm done, I'm like, man, that was cool. Yeah. That was fun. You get this adrenaline rush, all those things. Right. But also it's still hard for me to, if anyone knows anything about rappelling, right? The fast rope's a different thing. The fast rope, you're like, it's like a fireman's pole, but it's a rope. So there's nothing holding you at all other than your hands and your feet.
Yeah. I don't love that.
So it's just gravity doing its thing while you're guiding yourself down this rope, but you're moving, right? It's a fast rope. Like you're just sliding down a rope. Rappelling, you guys have seen tons of rappelling in movies and all that, but when you rappel, you have to back,
lean back, right?
You have to walk back to the ledge after you're hooked in. Mm-mm. Then you have to lean back. And when I first started doing that, the thing I didn't like about it was that lean back, because there was inches, right? Not feet. It was like inches of where you're starting to lean back, and that free fall feeling, that falling back.
I'd hate that feeling.
You would get that for like, a second, and then it would be taut. And so then you're like, okay, I'm in. Now let me just kick off and go down this wall. So I've learned little tricks, like I cinch up all the slack so I don't feel that, but you have to back into it and lean back. And
trust.
So I'm having to trust not only the harness I have to trust the rigger that rigged it up. I have to trust if I have a safety, because you don't always have like a belay safety at the bottom. But if I have a safety, I have to trust he's doing his job. I have to trust all these things for me not to burn down this rope. It's always in my head that I don't like doing it and that it's very difficult for me to do. But I have more trust in the whole process. And so when I'm having these difficult conversations, hard situations present itself. It could be hard situations even in the sense of it's not the conversation. This could be like, God, I'm in a hard place right now.
Yeah, we've dealt with that this year for
sucks, sure. Right? Like this is not where I want to be. This is not difficult. This isn't any doing of my own. This is just, I'm in this.
Suffering the consequences of others' decisions.
The more that I've had to go through those, the more that I've trusted God's like intertwined in the whole thing.
His process.
Yeah. And so I just have to not sit back and ride it. I have to continue to seek him so he gives me direction on how to get through this hard. And then when I get through the hard, there's going to be something that his glory comes down and is shown through that hard, whatever it may be. But that's ultimately why you go through the hard things.
Yeah.
It's so God can show his glory, right? Like that is.
Like, who is he?
That is the case. We've heard it from our son. Like, people are being healed, physically healed, deaf hearing, sight regaining, mute talking, crippled walking, like all these things. And what you hear from this team that he's with is God's glory. They're not like, thank God we showed up. No. Now this person can see. No, they're like, God's glory shone. And guess what happened? Hundreds of people just got saved.
Yeah.
Because God's glory was shown today. Right. And so that's what this hard is. This hard.
And that in that element of that same story, it's like, and they're sleeping in tents for 45 days.
Yeah.
They're physically exhausted. They're tired. They're worn out. They're all of the opposition that's come against them.
Yeah.
But that hard, there's such beauty in the process, right? God revealed himself in the hard. God revealed himself in them positioning themselves to be used by God. And I think that's such a huge thing to remember, is like, position yourself to be used by God and to trust him through the hard. It's like, because you are so right. It doesn't get easier to go through hard things. It just gets easier to trust the one who gets you through them.
Yep.
And that's a powerful reminder that if you're feeling overwhelmed and crippled in your decision making, is that your job is to lean into his strength and to trust that he will take you through. He'll take you through. So, challenge for the week, I think, is just that you just, you're going to have to find some promises of God that you're going to take a stand in.
Yeah.
And I think that's the things that can equip you in the hard, is to remind yourself over and over and over again, but this is the truth. This is who I serve. This is where I'm going. Those are the things that help us continue to just trust.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see you next week.